Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today I'm very happy to have Cory Fisk with us, and Cory is in the construction management world, and she actually teaches construction management and has gone through a number of different iterations in that whole world. So Cory, it's great to have you. I'd just love to kind of hear how you came from Aden, California, and got into construction management.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me today. It wasn't planned. So I think that that's one of the things that I have in common with a lot of people in the construction industry is sometimes we just don't plan this path or this direction. But my dad was a construction operator. He was a blade man, and my mom was a school teacher. And they raised us up in rodeo. And so I had a love for animals and always knew that I was going to go into equine science. And so when I graduated from Texas A&M University, it showed that the job that I was going to go into had an annual salary that was less than my student loans.
Oh, wow.
I had been working summers as a construction laborer and as an equipment operator. And so I found that it was really good money for young kids. And so I thought, well, I'll go back to California and I'll make really good money for a short period of time, pay off my student loans, and then I can start off in agriculture. It so happened that a Texas A&M alumni heard that I had a degree and I was working as a laborer. And so he offered me a position as a field engineer in the office.
Oh, wow.
And that's where my life changed. So I've been in construction management ever since. I've worked for great companies like Fleur Daniel, McCarthy Brothers, Granite, Teichert, and have now moved into being a construction management professor.
Wow. Yeah, those are the big guys, right?
Yeah.
Fleur and Granite, those are big companies. So that must have been sort of the Wild West a little bit, trying to keep all that under control.
Well, what was really interesting about it is that I only had practical experience, right? So I had no formal experience of how to read specifications or understand drawings. And so there was a lot of learning through the College of Hard Knocks that I ended up taking while I was learning how to be a construction manager. And so my growth in that path took a little bit longer because I had to back up and learn a lot of what some people learn in school already. But God puts us on a path for specific reasons. And I think that the reason why I was put on the one that I was on was exactly for where I'm at today and really needing to understand both sides of the coin in order to be able to really teach construction management to individuals that are in the field working with their hands. And so being able to help them really transition over that bridge of working from the site into the office in their management capabilities is what I do in Construction Management Online, which is the educational platform for personal growth that I provide to construction workers.
So at one point during your career, you actually managed the construction of casinos and other facilities. That must have been very interesting.
Very interesting. Not actually casinos. I worked with an Indian tribe, and so I managed all of the government side of their construction, which included things like their administration building, their elementary school, health and wellness facility. Sometimes their economic development committee would create investment opportunities, so like golf courses and
Oh, wow.
resorts. So those are always the fun projects to be able to work on. But when I first started, it really was where were the bonds at? Were the bonds paying for prisons or were they paying for schools? And that was good to an extent because it allowed a repetitiveness that allowed me to really be able to learn in that particular lane. So I started off in prisons and really understanding the creation of construction management in those really big 250, $350 million projects And
Wow.
then moving over into school districts, which were more of a diverse, smaller projects that took place, and then eventually running the Los Altos School District construction bond program when I was there for $100 million. And so definitely have been able to be a part of some really large, big projects, but I would really push to say that it's really about the people that you're working with. So whether it's a big project or a small project, there's many rewards to be found in building beautiful things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it sounds like you came through the school of hard knocks. You kind of learned everything on the job, so to speak, and then you have obviously become an expert in this field. And now we're going through this interesting transition from kind of old school construction to new school computers and AI and all of that. So how is that affecting the construction world?
Yeah, it's affecting it just like it's really affecting everyone, right? Everybody's kind of resisting it and not knowing where it's going to go, but at the same time knowing it's going to happen regardless. So my whole thought is on that is to just make sure that I'm staying with the river. Like I want to be able to be on that floaty, just kind of cruising down and taking in things as I can without the expectation of me being able to stay on top of it or keep ahead of the game because it's changing so fast that it's really impossible to be able to know anything and everything about what's coming out. And so what I've really focused on is specializing in the open chat GPT and the benefits that it has for efficiency and productivity and being able to do things like the entry level of helping superintendents and field engineers understand that it can create beautiful written correspondence, meeting minutes. It can take care of their spelling, their grammar, organize their ideas for them. It can even be used as a personal assistant and just kind of bouncing ideas off of, all the way into scheduling and estimating, where it's currently being used to provide forecasting or taking an estimate and developing a value scope and just really, really cool things that are happening, and trying to understand how to implement it into our workflow versus just being a user of it.
So what do you think? Are the estimates that are coming out of AI, are they pretty accurate? I mean, there is obviously a huge amount of construction data out there, so maybe AI can collect all that and give you a pretty accurate look at what the cost might be.
So it depends on who the estimate's coming from,
Ah,
because, right?
yeah.
Want to throw my architect friends under the bus, but sometimes we feel like the engineer's number that comes out with some of the bids isn't exactly where the dollar amount's going to be. And I would push back even on the estimator themselves. You really need to have that person with that construction experience who understands the outside influences, what's impacting the project. And of course, you can put all of that into ChatGPT and be able to come up with something that can be modified into what you want. But I would never, ever, ever print anything out and just believe that I can take it and run with it.
Okay, that's good. That's kind of what I thought or hoped you were going to say because even in the legal world, you can get all sorts of great information out of chat, but excuse me, it's not all always accurate. So that sounds incredibly good. So you get some good information, but you can't necessarily always trust it.
Yeah, it really speeds up what you're trying to work on, right? You
That's
can
it.
sit through and you can create your own cost schedule, and all of that takes research, it takes time, and this is able to accelerate that. So it really is a tool, but what I've found about AI in construction is that a lot of people think that it is geared towards the younger generation or entry level individuals who don't know that much about construction, so they can use ChatGPT as a cheater. But then those same people don't know how to review to determine if what they're being given is
Oh,
the truth or not. And so I really have found that the experience that I bring in is invaluable in being able to use ChatGPT, because if as long as I know how to use my words and I can create scenarios that are really detailed about how I would want to go into a negotiation, what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to achieve in the negotiation, a lot of that wouldn't be understood by someone who's never had to negotiate anything before. And so the practical experience that you have is essential in being able to really use ChatGPT in the way you would like it to be effective and efficient for you in construction, and your construction experience will be key.
so give us a little clue. I suspect you have a number of different modules in your online construction management courses, and it sounds like negotiation is probably one element of it. So maybe you could walk us through a little bit of what the different elements are.
Well, I have two different really stages or elements. The first are full programs that are there to support individuals who want to be construction managers. And so we've decided in some cases that school isn't 100% created for all people. And so what I've been able to do is provide coursework that allows mentorship with it, that you can go through the coursework, but then you have live lectures where you can work similar to a classroom and ask questions and talk through the material. But then also, when you're on the job site and something happens and you're like, I don't know what to do, then you give the mentor a call, and then we're able to walk you through that particular situation. Then the other thing that we have is called CM Skill Builder, and it's a monthly membership really created to be a library of resources of mini courses for everything that you would encounter in construction. It talks about escalation, how to be able to deal with negotiation in different regions. It talks about labor rates and understanding that in depth. It talks about how to break a specification down and really understand the different levels and parts of a specification and how to apply those to the work that you're doing in construction management. It clearly defines roles of individuals on the team. You know, many people think that because everything goes through the construction manager, that the construction manager has to know everything about how to create a project. And really, it's just not true. And that's what the contractor's there for. The contractor builds, the inspector inspects, the architect designs, and the construction manager facilitates. And so understanding all of that allows you to be able to lean on the experts who are going to be really holding the risk and responsibility of that particular lane. And so these mini courses just do a deep dive into things that you might not find in a textbook, that practical experience over time is going to reveal to you, but this allows you to accelerate that process.
Well, and so having come through the School of Hard Knocks, this kind of accelerates that whole process so that you don't necessarily get into the hard knocks quite as much as most people may if they're kind of coming through that series.
It That's the intent, but I will tell you that the hard knocks are what drive the nail, right? That's what helps you remember what it is. You're never going to make that mistake twice. And so, yes, of course, I want to be able to help people accelerate. I want to be able to really provide them the type of knowledge and education that I never had and that I don't see in the current school programs that are out there. But at the same time, understand that if you don't apply it, or if you don't use it in practical knowledge in the moment, that you're probably going to lose it quickly. And so this is why we have the mentorship that is carried along with the teaching, so that you have a sounding board to be able to ask questions about some of this, because your engagement is the application that is necessary in order for it to really stick, so that you can what we call build the foundation so that your vertical growth can have, lots of room to grow.
Lots of support.
Absolutely.
So I assume you can have anyone anywhere in the world take these courses.
Absolutely. We have them internationally, we have them locally, and so it's there to support anyone who's interested in the construction industry. And it has different levels. So we have, those that are going entry level superintendents that just are completely against learning anything about AI. It walks them through those first couple of confidence builders until they can really recognize and understand how they're going to use it or what they're going to use it for, all the way into construction management with our 12-week construction management essentials program, which has a year of mentorship with it. And then our executive professional, which really goes into more aspects of how to be able to create the mindset and leadership you need to lead either your own company or another company, and then recognizing teamwork and how to build teams and manage finances and risk and everything else associated with being at the top of your game.
So, wow. Okay. That sounds absolutely fantastic. So where, well, they can reach you, I see on your email. Where can people find you?
So we have our website at constructionmanagementonline.com. And then I'm on LinkedIn. It's Cory ThomasFisk with Construction Management Online. And then, yes, you see my email there. It's cmonline.edu@gmail.com.
Well, I look forward to talking to you further. I'm kind of last question here. What's your sort of crystal ball saying about the whole construction industry right now? Is it increasing, decreasing? What are you seeing out there?
The industry itself is huge, and I think that the point that I want to make is really, if you're going to enter in any path in any discipline, you can find that exact mirrored opportunity in the construction industry. The construction industry is going to be available for marketing, for financing, for understanding how to run equipment, how to be able to be a laborer, a carpenter, an electrician. There are opportunities there, and there are opportunities that pay really well. And so I think that the key is making sure that you understand what it is that you want to do in your life, what aligns with your own personal passions, your own personal, what we call genius zone, and then really understand what is easy for you so that you can align that you can align that with the types of skills needed for the task associated with the job opportunity that you're looking for. But anything is available in the construction industry.
So is the labor market starting to shrink for construction? Is it getting harder and harder to find people to go into construction?
It's twofold. So it is harder to find people to go into the construction industry. The construction industry continues to have some of the same issues and problems that it always has had. And that is that the perception is that all of the work in construction is heavy duty, grunt, dirty work, that it's unstable. There's maybe summer work and not winter work, that there aren't a lot of promotional opportunities. And so these are things that the construction industry is really working hard to turn on its head, because it's just simply not true. Right now, there is, what I've heard, a lot of people that are sitting at home, but some of that is because of the indecision that's going on with larger projects, not knowing what's happening with tariffs or some of the current changes that are happening in the administration that maybe are holding on to some loans or some monies that aren't funding projects. But when things really get focused and turned around and they start building these big new manufacturing buildings, and they start building these homes in these different locations, then it's all going to turn around, and there will always be a shortage of skilled workers in the construction industry. And if there's anything that I could say, it would be that to be the very best construction manager that you can be, if you can work in the field even for 6 months or a year prior to moving into your management role, it really does give you a close-up look at how the flow of construction happens on a job site. It gives you an appreciation and an empathy for those who are staying and choosing to stay on the job site and dig those trenches and, be in that hot weather or in that cold weather. And it allows you just to have an appreciation for other people and be more respectful in your communication with people. And so I would say be a carpenter, because they lay everything out, they read the drawings, they read the specs. It's a great opportunity to be able to have an awareness prior to moving into your construction management role.
Wow, that's fantastic advice. So have you got any thoughts about all the data centers that are currently being built?
I'm going to refrain from really commenting on that too much. I think that it opens up some very specific opportunities for individuals. I also know that there was a time when we put a couple extra spares in every trench that we put into a manhole, and we don't use those spares anymore. So I don't know if there's going to be a change in the way data is created, that it's going to have the same mandate in the future. I'm really not in that lane to be able to speak on it, but I do know that it takes a lot of power and it takes a lot of room. So those two things are something that the construction industry can look forward to as opportunities for their workforce.
Well, this has been great. I look forward to talking to you again, maybe in 6 months or so, just to see how the change in the environment is going and how your school is going and so forth. That would be great.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, thank you for being here. This was great.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.